times. Let's see how it goes. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. And already we are trading wards to see who is going to have control, and it looks like it's being K.
Teddy popped the W to try and get a double shot to kill the ward, but it was just a little too late. That's so sad.
Yeah, a bit of a shame.
That would have been so nice if you got the ward kills early, just such a mental boost, you know?
And infinity more CS than your opposition always feels amazing.
Yep.
All right, but already you can see, I think Teddy's not going to be too worried about it because this lane should be pretty comfortable for them. But, you know, Kellin and Diable have been able to play out lanes like this very effectively in the past, so anything could happen, and Namgung and Teddy are going to still have to play it very, very well in order to make this one happen. But it looks on paper like it should be something that could be quite difficult for this Kaisa Alistar to play out. As already do have some passives being thrown around. The concussive blows is going to be pretty dangerous here. Low range AD carry as well as a melee support. It's going to mean that everyone's going to be stunned up all the time. That's what it kind of feels like.
Yeah, a lot of power as well. I think the thing with the Lucian Braum is in the 2v2, you know, if you don't engage into it, and as long as you're keeping good space, like, you shouldn't get bullied out that hard compared to, like, longer range bot lane 2v2s. But I do think one of the things is that if you end up in a skirmish against them, it could be so punishing. So have to be really aware of that. You can see, like, we've seen Alistars get completely choked out of lane super early. That's not what's happening here. But they are getting pushed in. And if Gideon's ever playing around bot, you know, you feel so much better having a Lucian Braum to back you up.
Oh yeah.
Early on.
And he is moving towards the bottom side, as we can see. Currently keeping up as far as the farm is concerned, but we have a feeling that that is not going to continue as this game goes on.
Yeah, there was just, because obviously we saw Poppy all the time in the jungle, but they slowed it clear down, like a damage to jungle monsters. And also her ult. One of the things that really made it strong was like her ult, when you cancelled it, it went to like a 15-second cooldown, and they changed that to like a 30-second cooldown again. So it's a big reason why we kind of saw her just leave the meta.
Yeah, it was Gideon that had some really good performances on the champion, though.
Yeah.
So we'll see whether, if it's going to be anyone that makes it work, maybe Gideon is going to be the one.
Yeah, I still think it's playable, and I think in situations like this where, you know, the enemies have a lot of dashes, that's when you want to play it.
Well, Kellin kind of regretting his decision to go in, but
yeah,
sometimes you just want to press your buttons.
Sometimes you have to resist the urge, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like you're not going to get value out of that engage.
Well, he didn't. So you were exactly right there, Ox. Let's see whether he's going to learn from that mistake. As Roar the Slayer coming on through there as Raptor wanted to try and stop that back from coming through, but Roma is going to be able to make it back home. This top lane is going exactly how we've seen it go, as the Rek'Sai struggles a little bit in the earlier stages, and then you just cannot move her out of lane, as she just infinitely sustains forever and is very, very frustrating. So casting not going to quite be able to do enough damage as this game goes on, and probably should be able to sit there and farm as well.
We've also seen the Rek'Sai just be a complete menace in the late stages, just be so hard to deal with, and be super tanky.
Oh, the flash out of the way of the Q. That's a bit crazy here from Clear.
Yeah, and I think there was a sense as soon as casting started moving towards the river that, like, you know, if he's moving towards the river, not towards his tower, you're like, oh, he's got backup. So Clear backed away, was like ready to commit to the 1v1.
Well, I mean,
I think losing flash on Rek'Sai isn't the end of the world on top Rek'Sai. Obviously, it doesn't feel good losing that cooldown and not really getting more out of it. But I think we have seen Rek'Sai's get into the late game and just, especially for lower damage compositions, just be so hard to deal with. And when you look at Bro's comp, they don't have that. You know, you think Lucian and Syndra aren't like the highest damage for dealing with like a tanky champion, like cutting through it.
Yeah, especially when it's a dual threat comp instead of having damage out of the jungle or damage out of the top lane. Like, these are two tanks that are just not even really bruises or anything like that. There's a lot of tanky champions that do a fair bit of damage. Sion and Poppy, not really going to be those options.
Yeah,
so it's going to be full reliance on Roma and Teddy.
As a Syndra, you don't really want to be ulting a Rek'Sai as well.
Yeah. Can't you avoid the ult as well by just pressing your Void Rush?
Yeah.
That sounds very rough. Well, we'll see how that one's going to go, because of course Diable can also avoid a fair bit of the damage by using the shield from his Killer Instinct as well. Kellin likely not going to get one shot when he can just pop the Unbreakable Will. A difficult game for Syndra to really work out who to kill. Like, you could also accidentally throw an ulti into a clone. you know,
Don't do that.
there's all sorts of rough things that could happen.
Honestly, I think a big aspect is keeping people accountable. So when people are diving in, you have it ready. And then if Diable does step forward, boom, you know?
Yep, true.
But it
So
just,
far,
I think having an early lead for Braum, I think will pay dividends in this one.
Right now, they are ahead. I don't know whether 200 gold is really something that you're going to explain as a lead.
Invest it, you know.
Technically, it is, right? That's all we can say. As Clear, just eaten some of that Fury, and has just freshly teleported back towards this lane. You can see a couple of minions in the lead here for casting, but not really too much to write home about. As level 6 is gained by both of our mid laners. So Shockwave as well as that Unleash power, both going to be up and available here for any skirmishes that are going to be ensuing. And BNK keeping up very comfortably here in this bottom lane as well. Not something that I was necessarily expecting. But I think Namgung and Teddy, the best times are probably ahead of them still. One-item spikes and things like that going to be feeling pretty good out of the Lucian. Okay, once again, it's a slower start. And, you know, the bro and brew, you know, things like this certainly are happening. As now Vicla could be in some trouble as the bros look for the angle. Side flash here from Vicla to try and continue the assault. As Steadfast Presence comes on down, Shockwave to pull back the Poppy. And he does have to flash to get himself to safety. Meanwhile, battle towards the bottom side of the map as the Unbreakable Will for Kellin keeps him alive. And BNK able to dish back more than what they were given. Pretty impressive stuff here. Good sidestep as there's the pulverize onto both. Teddy now looking a bit worse for wear. It's a flash forward and Diable picks up the kill in the duo. Killer instinct as he looks for Namgung at the same time. Now the minion wave. Oh dear, I think this is a dead Braum, and it is. Kellin walks it off, and it is 2 kills to start the game for Diable.
And that's devastating for the bot lane of Bro to be losing that 2v2. We'll see how that played out.
Yeah, I take back everything I said about this lane being really difficult for Alistar Kaisa.
So Kellin hits level 6 as he backs away faster than anyone else, so he can ult and continue the trade here. Teddy really low on mana as well. And then that re-engage, so good. Teddy out of mana and Diable flashing for the passive proc. And then here, I also love the ult, because even though he doesn't immediately kill him, he cuts him off, and it allows him to go for the re-dive to ensure the second kill.
Man, just beautifully played. And setting up for, like, that was going to be a point of power for the bros. And now the opposite is true. Yeah. So they're going to have to change their game plan completely to play around some power elsewhere.
I mean, we've seen double carry compositions work before, but it's so important that your carries are strong.
Yeah.
So now when you're already seeing Teddy down 900 gold.
Oh, culling to come on through here as Kellin is going to be the one to tank it up. Pulverize onto Namgung as the flash forward to try and lock this one down. Kellin, no Unbreakable Will, so he is very dead as Teddy continues to fight towards Diable. There's a concussive, blows the barrier. Is it going to be enough? The answer's no. Piercing light, and Teddy finds the double back in the faces of those who just took 2 away from them.
So as I said, it's completely fine.
Yeah, completely playable. It's totally okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a big factor was, you know, the level 6 had come in for BNK Phyrex's bot lane. They'd burned those cooldowns, and then Bro came back with their level 6s, and you saw the culling being utilized, you saw flashes being utilized on the back of that, whereas BNK Phyrex didn't have theirs. It was just good cooldown management, and also maybe a bit of disrespect for the BNK Phyrex bot lane, having just won that 2v2, thinking, hey, we're on top. Well, you know, this is why Lucian Braum is strong. The passive stacking working very well there. And now Lucian with Essence Reaver is a massive spike.
Yeah, and also now has a gold advantage. So being able to swing back that gold, he was 1,000 behind, and now he's almost 300 ahead. So this is a big swing as we check out this fight one more time. And it was just BNK overextended.
Yeah. Hitting the Winter's Bite onto Diable here, meaning that he has to back away. And the culling that was blocked there by Kellin. And then Kellin gets stunned up. Teddy here as well. Double auto dashing to continue the passive onto the Kaisa, and then a great piercing light at the end as well. Just really well played.
Yeah, the Winter's Bite to slow him down at the same time. Namgung actually playing this one pretty effectively as well. And so the bros moving themselves into about a 400 gold lead.
And now, I mean, the Essence Reaver, even before this year, was a great spike for Lucian because it gave you infinite mana, AD, ability haste, but now you get that extra damage and you're rotating your cooldown so frequently, you're getting it a lot. Lucian loves when he has a strong one-item spike. You know, it used to be the Gale Force back in the day.
Yeah.
But I feel like the reintroduction of the Sheen effect on the Essence Reaver has been such a boon for the pick. So he's now in a really good position. And Diable, who went for that call, still doesn't have his one-item spike. So they have to really be careful.
Yeah. Does mean, I mean, we've got double ultis available for both of these bottom laners, so possibly a more even battle. But Gideon is going to make it a little more difficult here for B&K. As Teddy looks to dive forward. There's the culling once again, but they do avoid a lot of the tail end of the damage. Glacial Fissure comes down, but the answering ulti is there from Kellin. And Gideon not quite able to make his presence known just yet, but that is a lot of pressure there towards the bottom side, as Clear is very much farming between turrets at this point. He's going to be like behind the enemy nexus soon. But he'll pick up that wave, and you've got Casting also doing the same thing, going to meet that minion wave as it passes the inner turret. Okay, top lane is just not really doing too much. It's a teleport towards this bottom side of the map. Okay, it's Clear making its way in, but already Kellin is just dead. Double knockup does come through, but the door is in position. And I don't know about that one, B&K. I'm going to put that in the whoopsie column.
Yeah, I mean, Kellin goes in, but with no ult, he just gets demolished. Great flash there from Roma.
Yeah, no shockwave to connect. And B&K, I mean, maybe they found out that Umpty is here in the house, and maybe they're now too intimidated of the bros.
I mean, it seems like the Umpty buff is working because, bro, big advantage now. 2,000 gold in the lead. I mean, that bot play went perfectly. They got the TP from Clear as well. And yeah, Kellin goes in without ult, just gets exploded by the Lucian Braum. And then the peel is there to stop the Rek'Sai as well. And now Teddy in a very strong position, has a lot of the components for the Navori.
Yeah.
I mean, you see here, okay, he actually had the ult. Sorry, I thought it was down still.
Huh. It didn't look like he had the ult. And
Yeah.
level 1 Unbreakable Will just doesn't hit the same as some of the later levels. So, well played there by the bros defensively, but I think that was largely on B&K overstepping and not finding the angle, as Clear also using his teleport to get towards the bottom lane means that he loses a lot of that power from the top side. Has now put together his first item. That Titanic Hydra is now done. But you can see Casting, a couple of waves in the lead, Sunfire Cape done, and so feeling very happy as this Sion. Okay, I still think it's playable here for B&K, as their composition does just kind of get better and better as this game goes on. But as you can see here, I mean, Teddy, as he approaches those two items, man, he is getting scarier and scarier. And Gideon is getting to the point where, I mean, he has his first item, might be able to start diving these turrets as well, if he would like to. As yeah, top lane is just not really interacting in this game.
Yeah, not much they can do to each other. Oh, Gideon doesn't quite get the stun there.
Yeah.
He's going for that Sundered Sky Poppy build we've seen a lot of.
Looks like B&K do not want to mess with this dragon fight. Just not with enough power around the map. Casting it rotated down from that top side as well. An Unstoppable Onslaught can get him there at a moment's notice. So Gideon going to be able to take this dragon without too much contest.
And honestly, Gideon's done a good job of keeping up a farm. Like I said, they slow down Poppy's Clear, reduce the damage to jungle monsters. And I honestly thought that this would be a scenario where Gideon just falls behind in farm, but he's kept pace. So doing good there.
And it's not like WuKong is the fastest farmer as well.
Yeah.
I think with more and more items, WuKong farms more and more quickly, right? Because you do build a fair bit more damage compared to a Poppy. But right now, looking absolutely fine here for Gideon. Oh, and there are the quick blades done already.
Yeah, big
Teddy.
spike coming through.
So he is 750 gold. And I want to go back to what you were talking about as a possible con for the bros, and that is their two-threat composition. That was the fact that, okay, we've got a shockwave here in the mid lane. The flash forward from Clear, and Roma, he's dead.
Not much you can do there, I'm going to be honest. No flash, you're kind of stuck. Gideon gets a stun, but can't really do more.
Yep, Heroic Charge is going to be able to work there, but now Clear looking for Gideon. Does get the knockup. Cyclone comes down. Glacial Fissure is there, though. That is a decoy. And so that is not going to be the prize that the bros are looking for.
They did take out that decoy, though. That was good.
That decoy was well and truly dead. Yep.
Yeah. They do force them away, get them low, and no real extra pressure is going to come out other than the kill. Casting getting some damage on this tower here, but TP's going to come in to defend that.
Yep. Rek'Sai making her way up. And so let's have a look at this one more time. Yeah. Just Where's the counterplay? Maybe
Yeah, especially with the flash.
Flash.
Especially with the flash from Clear, just there's really nothing you can do. Bit of an unfortunate one. And you can see Roman was a bit hesitant, kind of knew it was maybe coming, but once you've walked up, you are kind of doomed. Now should be able to get this Herald.
Yeah.
Yep. Can you get the eye though?
Looking for a fight here as Gideon down relatively low. Vicla looking for Roma. Scatter the Weak does come on through. Force of Will throws a blue buff at him. That was pretty cute. But it looks like the eye is just going to go to the wayside. Casting, I think, was considering moving over to try and take it. But B&K, I think, have successfully denied Shelly's presence on the map here in this game number 3. It's a little bit sad. I imagine she probably wanted to participate today, but it's just not happening. Not 3 games in a row. As B&K still defending here towards this bottom side, but they are starting to fight with a little bit more gusto. And the game is very, very even. Another shockwave to come through as Vicla is just going to find a solo kill. And Gideon going to help finish that one off. And I don't know whether that's exactly going to give you enough back, as now the culling to be thrown towards Kellin and Diable, but the Unbreakable Will soaks up a lot of that damage. Still the Bros fighting this one off quite nicely, as now Teddy looks for the angle and does not quite get it towards Diable, but they still need to get out of there. Yeah,
I mean, Kellin tacking it up for his AD carry, but you can see the pressure being applied here by the Bro bot lane. They have to back away. I think this might just be the turret. Should be able to pick that one up there.
Yep. And despite what's been happening in the mid lane, things still going pretty well for the Bros. So we're going to check this one out one more time. Yeah, it just kind of shockwaves him.
Yeah, so much damage. And in the end, it ends up being more gold for the Bros because they get an assist as well. But
yep.
You know, it's a flash burn by Gideon and Vicla really putting his stamp on the matchup. Also, you know, you're getting that kill gold on the Orianna, which feels really good.
And it's the mental battle as well.
Yeah, the mental battle is going well there. The Shockwave already doing a lot of damage. Has gone for that Luden, so a lot of burst there. You know, we've seen so many Orianna builds last year that were a bit more anemic, right? A bit more defensive. The sort of like AP Bruiser. I'm very bulky, but this is like, I'm going to one-shot you. And you have a lot of setup for it, right? You have WuKong, Rek'Sai, or Alistar, all great setup champions for Shockwave.
And then the follow-up that you have as well is Diable can just dive in and finish off everyone that is going to be so low after that high damage ulti.
And you only have 2 champions that you have to hit. Like if you hit Teddy or Roma with a Shockwave, that's fight winning. Like you have to hit one of them, and then they only have 1 carry left, and it's so hard to fight your way out with 1 carry alive.
And Roma only has flash to try and get out of the way.
Yeah.
They do decide to go for an engage. So that summoner spell is going to be so important as the Bros looking for a bit of a fight here, but there is Gideon being thrown around like a ragdoll, tries to heroically charge his way out, but a Void Seeker is going to be able to connect to find him. Still the Bros looking for the fight as Namgung going down very, very low, but it's Raptor that dies first. Clear gets into the backline, and so does Diable as the Killer Instinct comes through. Teddy takes the Acathian Rain with him to the grave as it's a double kill for Clear. And now Casting has a very large health bar, but he wants to get the heck out of dodge, and he will successfully escape because he is very difficult to kill at this stage of the game. But B&K win themselves the fight pretty handily.
And B&K for Rex, just the ruthlessness and the target selection. This is exactly the sort of composition we'd see them play last year, and just they see a target and they go for it. Like here, Gideon felt like he overstepped a little bit. They know he doesn't have flash. They take him down, and you know, it's a lot committed to get him, right, with the WuKong ultimate used there and the Shockwave. But here, right, even though the WuKong goes down, look what happens to Teddy in this situation. Kellin has the passive stack, ends up flashing for the stun, and it's both Rek'Sai and Kaisa just diving forwards for him. And just like in a moment, the fight is over.
Yeah. And nothing really that Roma could do. He had to just back away towards that top side as they all chased Casting to see whether they could kill him. Turned out the answer was no, but losing 3 for 1 is not what they wanted to see. And now the game is all tied up, extraordinarily even here in this game number 3 decider between the Bros and B&K. I think this much closer than a lot of people I think would have expected.
I think this is a problem, right? Your carries are mid-range, right, with Lucian and Syndra, and they have to do so much. And I think Kaisa as well just has so much more sustained damage. So I think they really need to target the Kaisa, blow her up as quickly as possible, and then that's really the big chance for the team fights. And I feel like this game, there's still a lot of time left in it, right?
Yeah.
Both teams only a dragon apiece, and gold is dead even at 20 minutes, so...
And it's an Infernal Soul as well, so each of these Drakes that they're going to be picking up from now on are going to feel pretty strong, augmenting the amount of stats that you do have. As now Casting will be able to charge up a cube. It doesn't quite hit Vicla with it. Phase Rush helping him out there, as well as Dissonance movement speed. As B&K now parking themselves, as far as the bottom lane is concerned, in the mid lane, just to farm waves over and over again. Next Dragon, 4 minutes, so it's going to be a while before we get a fight around that. Not entirely sure where the next objective is going to be, but you can see Clear having a very good time here towards this top side. We'll be able to wipe out this top lane out of turret. And 2 items already done here for the Rek'Sai.
There's been a lot of struggles just to break the turrets in this game, I feel. Just trying to get through them. Also, Clear going, like, good amount of damage on this Rek'Sai with the Shojin and the Titanic. Like, he is wanting to get on squishy targets and put the hit down.
Yeah. And I say 2 items completed for the Rek'Sai. I mean, casting does have 2 complete as well in the Thornmail and the Sunfire Cape. So the Sion's pretty scary, but just not quite as scary as what Clear can do if he does make it into the backline as Raptor looking for a wraparound once again. Got to stop saying Rap and Raptor in the same sentence. Sounds a bit weird. As Q gonna get charged up, so Raptor does get knocked up. Gideon looking for a bit of an angle. Unstoppable Onslaught does come in as they get rid of the cow. And now Namgung looking a little worse for wear, but Diable out of this fight almost completely. Raptor, great defensive Cyclone as Kellin goes in. Namgung, I don't know about that flash, but it was aggressive. I like the idea, just didn't quite work out as Diable gets into the backline, supercharges to get himself out, but I don't know whether that's what he wanted to do. The unleashed power comes through from the Syndra, and Kellin is hunting down Teddy. The flash in from Clear to finish off the 80 carry, and now Romer is running for the hills. It is a 2-for-1 so far, but Gideon likely to die as well. Oh, never mind. Not quite able to get that last hit, but casting not going to be so lucky as Scatter the Weak comes in, and down will go the cow as Romer is on the board. Speaking of roaming though, Raptor is looking for a bit of an angle as there is Gideon and casting with basically no health at all. And it looks like they will be allowed to make it to safety.
Such a scrappy fight, and I think this is still the issue, is that in this one, Bro are so heavily focused on chasing down targets, but they end up sacrificing so much to try and get Raptor here. You know, they're chasing him down, they walk into the shockwave, Namgung is super low here and flashes forward to try and secure the kill and dies. And then look how much health Teddy ends up losing here. The Kaisa goes in for him, he ends up getting chunked out by the Orianna and by the Alistar. And then, like, you lose one of your carries in this crazy chase, so it's only Roma left who has damage, and you kind of realize, despite having these relatively healthy tanks, you have to back away because you don't have the damage to cut through the Rek'Sai, and Roma needs to wait for cooldowns. So, you know, even though you get that exit kill, it's very scrappy, very messy, and I feel like in this chaos, this is where B&K X's comp works better.
Yeah. They have just a few more things that can do damage. So even though Diable kind of kamikazed in that last fight, it wasn't exactly the end because Clear is just so strong.
That's the thing, if you lose the Kaisa, you still have so many damage sets, but if you lose Lucian, it's like, well, what do we do now?
I mean, can Clear just build a full item? No, not quite, but that's a lot of extra tanky stats. As he grabs himself some health, some magic resist, and some armor. Beautiful.
Okay, we have
love to see it.
IE on Teddy, which is nice, but he really needs like a pen item, like an LDR, before he's going to be doing considerable damage here.
Yeah, certainly will be able, like, if he ever starts hitting Diable, for example, I mean, Diable's just dead very, very quickly with this item build. But needs to be aiming for the squishies. I think you're exactly right.
I mean, to be fair, there's not that much resist, but the thing is, like, even just a chain vest plus the base stats on a level 17 Rek'Sai, and also WuKong gets so much free armor from his passive.
Yeah, true.
Really makes it difficult, so...
I think Teddy's main thing that he needs to worry about is Clear as well.
Yeah. I mean, this is just how the game is now with the role quests, is that Clear's level 17 and Teddy's level 12.
Oh my god!
And that's not like anything crazy, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So, you know, good luck.
I'm not going to get used to that. That's an absurd difference. Casting is at least level 16. Looking to get that level up as soon as he can. But he is very, very far away from level 17, as you can see. Not a whole lot in that experience bar, and Clear is most of the way towards level 18 right now, or half the way, I should say. As all right, Infernal Drake goes over to B&K. Now they're looking for a potential fight here. Let's see what they can actually find. Good knock up onto Diable there from casting. who's just putting himself in front of the bros like a brick wall standing stalwart. The Commodore himself, Scatter the Weak is fantastic. Unstoppable Onslaught comes down as well as they get rid of the Rek'Sai from the fight. Kellin is just trying to distract as best he can, but he goes down. And there's the shockwave, but it's more defensive than anything else, and the bros stand their ground.
That stun from Roma was so good. Spread and hit 3 members across the fight. Catching Diable as well was phenomenal, and now going towards the Baron. There's a ward though, that sneaky ward still spying them out, and BNK Fearax are moving over.
Yeah. Clear, coming in with 3 items now completed.
Information, they've seen them move off it, so they don't have to approach.
Yeah, and they're not going to.
What a ward.
That is, that's a powerful one. What are we calling that ward? Kind of want Gary.
Yeah?
Gary the ward.
I like Gary the ward.
Gary was a snail as well. I'm starting to remember.
He's not got much time left in this world.
No.
But yeah, this stun that comes through catches both the Orianna, the WuKong, and the Kaisa as well.
And in the meantime, Clear is in the sky because Poppy catches him. So almost everyone is CC'd in that moment.
Yeah, just really allowed Bro to move forward at their own pace. So, I mean, you can see, right, if Roma and Teddy are playing flawlessly, like the composition can work, they can win the game, but, you know, the burden is really on them to make this happen.
Yep. And there's a slight gold advantage for BNK. All of that money is on Clear. Every single bit of it.
Okay, my math isn't adding up because they have a 500 gold lead and he has a 2,500.
Yeah.
So that and more off that gold lead.
It is kind of ridiculous. As he does have those 3 items completed, casting a little further away from that third.
I will say once Teddy gets like 4 items and Roma starts to get a bit more items, I think honestly it gets a bit easier for Bro because right now it just feels like the carries just don't cut through the front line quick enough, but once they start to get like pen alongside like the capstone items, like you already get the IE for Teddy, but once he gets his pen item completed as well,
yeah,
that's when they can really just pump the damage as long as they survive.
We'll see whether they can as Namgung puts up the door. There's the steadfast presence to avoid Kellin from doing too much with that headbutt as Teleport brings the Sion into the fight. Casting is a brick wall once again. We'll be able to slow down Vicla here momentarily, but the bros not actually looking to start a fight right here. Just going to dash back and look for a little bit of an angle towards this Baron. Another ward in the back of the pit, so BNK with full information that they are not starting it.
This has been such a tense game.
Really intense, and so close throughout the entirety of it.
And the thing is, when you look at the group standings and the matchups between them, I mean, I feel like more so for Bro than for BNK Fearax, but this match is important.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of, I mean, honestly, I say that, but for BNK Fearax as well, when you look at some of the other teams in that group, like, you have to compete with HLE, with D+K, with KT, because you want to be in the top 2 of your group. Even if, like, if Group Elder wins, you want to be in the top 2 so you can go through to playoffs. So it's important for them to get as many wins as possible.
Yeah, it's a tough one, especially with how well DK is playing. HLE, of course, no slouches themselves.
Yeah, I think as much as they lost to T1, it was still a 2-1, right? So.
Yeah. And we do put T1 as one of the best in the league.
Yeah, rather good.
I think. Rather good is probably what we're saying. We are a top 2 region right now from what we expect. But still very early days.
The thing is, you can't even make the joke about what have they done recently, because they won the Casper Cup since Worlds, right?
Yeah, they did.
So we can't even make that joke anymore.
I also think they played pretty well when they were in Vietnam immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
It's just winning, winning, more winning for the squad. And then being able to take down HLE. We'll ignore game 1. After that, everything looking pretty good. So, let's see whether the bros can channel some of that, because losing game 1, that's what they did. Just need to now win the next 2, and it doesn't matter what you did in game number 1.
Okay, Dragon in 40 seconds. This is a major point of the game.
Soul point for BNK if they're able to lock this one down. But the bros, they might just not care and just go kill Baron.
Yeah, they're going for it. I mean, it's 2-man on it. Just get spotted out, though. I think you have to back off. Baron is tanky. You can't just 2-man that if they know you're on it.
Yeah, and immediately they get the information, but Clear is putting the pressure on, right? This inner turret is going to fall, and that is not no money. That is a 3,300 gold advantage before the tower even goes down.
And casting doesn't have TP, so you have to send Roma down there. And the thing is, if Clear TP's in, he gets that massive shield, it feels so much better. And that's just Dragon giving up.
Yeah, the bros kind of caught napping here. Just a little bit. They are clearing out vision around this Baron, but in the meantime, Raptor is just going to take this dragon. And there is a Syndra now trying to deal with this Rek'Sai, but it means that BNK can walk up. They get full information, teleport to bring Roamer in to make this a 5 versus 5, as teleports are coming in everywhere as well. Shockwave only hits onto casting, but look at the Baron. It's going to be secured by the bros, and they just walk their way out. BNK just a little slow.
So obviously, Baron for Dragon, you know, we've seen those trades and often, very often favor the Baron. But the thing is, Baron with so much less gold than it used to be. So, you know, up front, we need to see what Bro do with the buff, right? It's not enough just to say, hey, we got all that gold, we got all that experience. It's enough on its own. We have to see what can they push on the back of this buff, because right now, BNK Fearx are 1 away from Soul. Doesn't feel really good to put them in that position.
Yep.
Also to mention, Teddy did delay his LDR here and actually start working towards a GA, so kind of switch things up a little bit here.
Kind of interesting. I actually don't mind it when you've got so, like, the durability on Bro is so high that you can just have Casting and Gideon kind of stand on his body while he's respawning. I feel like you do get a bit of extra value.
I mean, I think the GA is good. It's just, you know, he had that BF sword before. He could have had a completed item for that dragon fight, but I guess it didn't fight, so...
Yeah.
But now you have the Baron. If nothing happens on the back of this Baron, I feel like BNK Fearx are okay that you took it. But if you get structures from it, then, you know, okay, they've gotten 1 tower. That's a good reward. You can see the Baron power play starting to build up in Bro's favor.
1800 now. Should be getting higher. You can see Clear with 4 items now completed. Steric's Gauge done, level 19. So close to level 20 for this Rek'Sai.
That's the thing. I feel like when people have level leads, you know, so often you're like, well, they'll hit level 18, they'll stop. Not anymore.
Yeah, no. Level 20, now done for the Rek'Sai. That is the highest level Rek'Sai I've ever seen.
Yeah. And especially with things like Steric's, there are certain items that scale extremely well with base stats. And Steric's is an example, because obviously you get the AD based on your base AD, which keeps going up to level 20. So an item that definitely syncs well with the fact that you can go beyond level 18. Do you have the GA completed for Teddy now? But yeah, I mean, it was more gold for Bro, but 1.68 gold isn't like a crazy amount. They didn't get that much in terms of structures.
And BNK, before the Baron went down, actually increased their gold by a lot. As oh god, okay, Roamer is likely to just be dead. He's just dead.
That's not good.
No, I'm going to put that in the cons column as well. Not quite working out, because you mentioned 2-threat comp. Now it's 1 threat. It's just Teddy. And the Baron that they were going to try and use to push down and get structures well, it's Diable is getting plates as Teddy looks to try and cull him. Had a minion wave there, which I believe just saved Diable's life, as now the fight is on for real. Remember, the Roamer is not there. Casting moving in. Clear down very, very low, but remember, this Rek'Sai is so powerful. Still, it is going to be the kill onto the WuKong. Taking the tunnel out is Clear, but there are the knockups from Kellin. As the shockwave, gigantic from Vicla. Remember whose year it is, ladies and gentlemen. It might be Teddy's, as he does actually manage to get some work done. But Casting, he's the last man standing on this Sion, and he's not going to be able to stop Vicla this year.
Bro, trying to find the fight 4v5, and honestly, it looks pretty good until Vicla reminds them it's his year. And Roma just caught out in a pretty uncomfortable position, trying to push the side lane. Gets caught out by a WuKong, and there's so little you can do in this 1v1. The fact that you don't even have to flash as the WuKong, and then here, Diable oversteps a little bit, and I think this is what makes them think we can do it, because the Kaisa's super low, barrier down. They try and make the fight. Teddy gets so much damage down here. You can see now this 4.5 item Lucian really starting to pump the numbers. But then the shockwave from Vicla, he's kind of stalled from the fight by casting, but flashes in so much damage. And Teddy does respawn and finish off the Kaisa, but
it's just not enough.
Yeah. And now, state of the game. 45 seconds until potential soul for BNK Fearx. The gold is basically even. And a lot was burned. We actually have a Seeker's Arm Guard for Teddy. So he's like, my GA's down. I need something to keep me alive.
And Diable has one too. They're all over the place.
It feels more regular for a Kaisa, but it is a more crit-based Kaisa. So yeah, I mean, they're just investing. I mean, why not? You're a 6-slot champion, right, with the 80 carry quest, so you have the space for it. It could be the clutch item here. Oh, casting might caught them.
Yeah, see whether he does find the angle as Teddy, Culling not really doing anything much of anything at all to Vicla. As, oh dear, the Rek'Sai on the flank angle looking for Teddy, has to settle for a knockup on a casting as the two-man shockwave does come on forward. Ulti out from Namgung doesn't do too much of anything at all. But the pros, they stand tall. Health bars looking a little worse for wear, but they are all still alive. Only one ultimate still remaining as Clear looks for a little bit of an angle here onto Gideon. And meanwhile in the 4v4, the flash forward, the Cyclone's massive and the killer instinct from Diable as he gets into the backline, wipes out the bottom lane immediately. And there is Clear finding Gideon, Void Rush to take down the jungler. And now Raptor and Clear are looking for the angle onto Roma, who is now the only one still alive. And that was the opposite of what happened in the last fight, but that may spell the end of the game as B&K. I mean, it took them a while this time around, but it looks like they are going to be able to take down the pros here in this series.
And Raptor coming in clutch, found that pick on Aroma previously, and they're finding that snapping gauge right at the end. They almost played a dangerous game. That ult is still available.
Yeah.
I'd be a little careful if I were you.
He broke his arm guard, so he does need to be very, very careful. There's Scatter the Weak and a flash, but I don't know whether Roma's going to be able to do anything. There go the Nexus turrets. Headbutt pulverized from Kellin as they celebrate with a final kill. Diable locks that one down, and B&K FearX